Hi there everybody, Richard Fulmer here, and welcome to another one of my Richard's Rock Rambles. So today we're going to carry on checking out albums that are having a birthday in 2024, their 50th in fact. And I've got to say the two albums I'm going to chat about today are two of my favorites. I often reach for these two albums. It's just something about them that, I enjoyed them when they first came out, and I still enjoy them the same. Top quality recordings. The one was a band finding new members and a new path, and the other one was a solo artist, a guy who was in a band, well-known band, but he felt a bit restricted. And that's one we're going to chat about first. And the gentleman I'm talking about is Mr. Robin Trower. There we go. And the album is Bridge of Sighs. And this would go on to be his most famous and most popular album. Man is still going today. I think he recently turned 80, if I'm not mistaken. And he also recently brought out a new album. One where he has a lady singing with him for the first time. Or the whole album. She sings on the whole album. He'd previously done vocals on his albums, but he's not the greatest singer. Excellent guitarist, but not the best singer. So he's still going strong, still touring, and long may it continue. But Bridge of Sighs is the one we're chatting about today. So this came out, released on the 20th of April 1974. His second album, the first album was called Twice Removed from Yesterday. Same lineup as this. That being Robin Trower on guitar, obviously Fender Strat. He has played a Fender Strat his whole career. James Dewar, the late James Dewar, on bass and vocals, one of the most underrated singers in rock. Beautiful voice, could do the hard rocking stuff, could do the ballads. Brilliant, just a great tone to his voice. And then a guy by the name of Rrr-Episode on drums. He was on the first album and he was on this one. Really good drummer as well. And, talking about tone, that's something that sets Robin Trower apart from so many other guitarists. He has a tone, a sound that is all of his own. It's beautiful, it's melodic, it really gets you in the heart sometimes. He plays with a lot of feeling. He's not a flashy guitarist, he's not a Joe Satriani, but he doesn't need to be. He has his own sound, his own tone, and a lot of emotion in his songs as well. So this would primarily be a blues rock album of the early 70s, that kind of genre. Well produced as well, produced by a guy called Matthew Fisher. And so that's the back. There's just the songs, not much else. This is a pretty standard vinyl. I must say the quality of this vinyl is really good. Excuse me. And I had a record before, prior to this one, same record, but it was a local release. This a very good friend of mine, Paul Knott, sadly passed away a few years ago. He sent me this imported copy, and I must say the sound on this is just amazing. I don't know, there's just something about vinyl, the warmth to it, and that's what you need for an album like this. So what are the tracks on here? All of them are written by Robin Trower, and James Dewar. He's co-writes on two of them. Starts off with Dave the Eagle, with some brilliant vocals from James Dewar, like I mentioned, a great singer, and really in the pocket playing with his bass guitar, and the drummer as well, Rrr-Episode. Two of them link up as a great rhythm section. And then, of course, you've got the great Robin Trower doing his thing on the guitar. So that's Dave the Eagle, the first track. Then Bridge of Sighs, the title track, which is when you listen to that track, still to this day, the hairs stand up on my arm when I listen to that. It's just such an emotive, atmospheric, beautiful track. And some of the sounds that Robin gets out of his guitar is just otherworldly. It's just a great track. Haunting, melodic. It just takes you away when you listen to it. It's a fairly lengthy track as well. There's not many tracks on the album. I think there's 8 all in all. And that's followed up by In This Place. Also, a very mellow track. Just the right track to follow on from the title track, Bridge of Sighs. And then it's The Fool in Me, which is a slightly more up-tempo track. Was also some great vocals from James Dewar. Two Rolling Stone is the first track on side 2, and that would go on to be a great live track. In fact, the live album that came out, I think in 75 or 76, Robin Child just says live. That's the first track on the live album, and it's a great version on there. This is a great version too, but the live one's even better. About to Begin, another very slow, brooding track. And I think James Dewar has his vocals going through a phaser or something in that track. Works perfectly. Lady Love, another up-tempo one, as well as the last track, Little Bit of Sympathy, which also became a fairly big hit off the album. This album wasn't an immediate hit for him, but over the years it's gained traction and it's become a firm favorite of many. Like I said, I reach for this quite often and I never get tired of it. So there we go, our first 50 old for the day, Robin Trower's Bridge of Sighs. If you don't have it, you need it. The second one is, like I mentioned, a band who'd been going for some time already. And they had a big change up in the lineup. The singer left, the bassist left. Talking about Deep Purple. I'm talking about the album. Oh, I beg your pardon. Let me just show you. I do have the Robin Trower Bridge of Sighs on CD as well. This one has a few bonus tracks which are live. Dave the Eagle, Bridge of Sighs, Two Rolling Stone, Lady Love, and A Little Bit of Sympathy, all live. Completely forgot that I had this to show you. And that just tells you about the album and what the live tracks are. And I just want to see if they mentioned what the live tracks are here. Where was it recorded live? Originally broadcast live on K-Met at the record plant. So it wasn't actually a live concert, sort of a television live thing that they did. But needless to say, also well produced. There we go. So that's the CD version that I have. Getting old, you know. I put things out and I completely forget that I put them here. Right, so moving on to Deep Purple and Burn. So this is the 30th anniversary edition, which comes with a bonus tracks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bonus tracks on here. Sorry about the glare. I'm doing this in the afternoon, so the sun and what have you is getting a bit hectic here. It's middle of summer and it's hot. There we go. That's the cover that everybody knows. All the guys in their heads in the candles, all melting away there. So what was the big change in the band? Well, Ian Gillan had left or been pushed out, or whichever way you want to look at it. There's a couple of different stories. Great vocalist. In his place was an unknown guy, David Coverdale. He was, I think, working in a fashion store somewhere in Redcar in the UK. Very different vocalist, very soulful, and he would bring something very different to the party, as would the second newcomer, Glenn Hughes, who'd previously been with the band Trapeze, and he was there on bass and vocals. And that was the great thing about this album. Now, suddenly you had two excellent singers. Sorry, I just need to sip another bit of coffee. And that's what makes this album so strong. Glenn Hughes' vocals are more high range, and they're still high range. I mean, how he does it still today, I have no idea. I mean, Glenn Hughes is now in his 60s, or late 60s, early 70s, I think, 74, somewhere around there. Anyway, so him and David Coverdale worked so well as a duo. And then, of course, you had Ian Pastel on drums, John Lord on keyboards, Richie Blackmore on guitar, making up the other guys in the band. And there's not a bad track on as there's not a bad track on the Robin Trower, same with Burn. And as a comeback album, this just blew everybody out the water. And it starts off with the title track, Burn, which is just one of the best first tracks on any album ever. It just hits you in the face. It's a full-on rocker. Excellent guitar work from Blackmore, counterpointed with some brilliant Hammond B3 organ work from John Lord. And there you hear David Coverdale doing his thing along with Glenn Hughes on second vocals and the chorus. Brilliant track. I love that. You know, if you ever have a party and you want to get the people on the floor, just stick on Burn. Then you had Might Just Take Your Life, and this is the album where it starts to get a little funky for Deep Purple, and that's definitely the influence of Glenn Hughes, and later on with Tommy Bolin even took it to another level. So that's track 2, Might Just Take Your Life, and there you can hear Glenn Hughes' high vocals as well. Lay Down, Stay Down. Some great drumming from Ian Pace. Ian Pace is all over this album. Sail Away. You Fool No One, another one of my favorites off here. And that's where David Coverdale also has a little bit of a higher vocal, although he kept things mostly to a lower range. And then it's What's Going On Here. And then, of course, the probably the most famous track, besides the title track on this album, Mistreated. And that became a crowd favorite. David Coverdale's Tour de Force, and at the California Jam in 1974, a bit later in the year, because this came out in February 1974 on the 15th. And later on in the year, they took part in that massive California Jam, that famous one where Ritchie Blackmore broke the television camera with his guitar and he got sued for it and all the rest. And that song, Mistreated, became David Coverdale's sort of showcase. And that's also a really cool version on there. And the only misstep for me on here is A200, which is sort of a instrumental synthesizer thing that John Lord did. It's a bit of a throwaway track for me. Not something that I need to hear again. But the rest of the album is just classic. This is a must-have if you're a Purple fan. Then the bonus tracks, Coranus Redig, 204 remix. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think that's also an instrumental. Burn, another version. Mistreated, 2004 remix. You Fool No One. And Sail Away, also 2004 remix. So I'm going to quickly see if there's anything I can show you inside. Seeing this as this is a remastered version, just shows you, it tells you the whole story there. There's a picture of Trapeze. That's Glenn Hughes' first band. There's a very young David Coverdale with shades on, and there's Glenn Hughes, the two newbies in the band. Yeah, look, David Coverdale looking very different there with John Lord, and there's the band with Ritchie Blackmore in the middle. I think it's him in the middle. No, that's Ian Pace. Ritchie Blackmore's there in the red. There they are outside Clearwell Castle, which for that famous photo op. There we go. A couple more shots of them in the studio. So yeah, it's all very interesting. And there's the man himself, Ritchie Blackmore, with that famous white Strat, or cream-coloured Strat. Another shot of the band with the two newbies. You would stay for a few albums, and then they would also get their marching orders. And 75, I think, Deep Purple finally called it a day until they reformed in 84. It's a great shot of Glenn Hughes in the bass. So there we go. That's Deep Purple's Burn. That's the back. The candle's melting. Another album that's 50 years old and another must-have. If you don't have it in your collection, you are missing out. Seriously, one of my top 5 Deep Purple across all marks. Mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 1000. You know, there have been so many lineup changes in Deep Purple. I've forgotten which mark is what these days. But this is Mark 3. And yeah, a classic for a reason. Deep Purple's Burn and Robin Trower's Bridge of Sighs. Thanks for watching, guys. Have yourselves a great week. And down below, any comments, please. No problems, good or bad. Give me a thumbs up. That will be great. It'll really help the channel. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. Take it easy out there, and I'll catch you soon for some more 50-year-olds. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.